Hey amazing hackers, Hackstuder here. In the previous video, we have solved this SQL injection union attack determines the number of columns returned by the query. So now in this lab, we are going to solve this SQL injection union attack finding a column containing text. Okay, let me get in and then I will explain you. I have opened it in a new tab. So SQL injection attack finding a column containing text. This lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. That's okay. The results from the query are returned in the application's response. So you can use a union attack to retrieve the data from other databases. To construct such an attack, you first need to determine the number of columns returned by the query. So this thing we already did in our previous lab. We can do that again. Okay, the next step is to identify a column that is compatible with string data. This is the next step what we need to do. The lab will provide a random value that you need to make appear within the query result. To solve the lab, perform an SQL injection union attack that returns an additional row containing the value provided. This technique helps you to determine which columns are compatible with string data. Okay, how we will do this attack? So here it is clearly explained. So the result from the queries are returned in the application's response. So you can use a union attack to retrieve data from other database, other tables. So basically when a query is sent, so the query will return data from only one table. But when we use the word union in that query, then it can be like it can bring the data from other tables and it can mix the result from the existing query and the additional query whatever which we want to give. So it will mix. It can mix both the things. So that is how it happens. So for that, first thing we need to know how many columns does it return when with the existing query. So that is the first thing which we have already done in the last lab. So let us quickly get in and let us see how many columns are there. This looks like we have 3 columns already. Okay, let me hit on gifts just like that. So here also 1, 2, 3. We already know that we have 3 columns. So in the last lab we have solved these using UNION+SELECT+NULL, but in this lab let me solve with a different one. Okay, if you can see this, order by. So this way also we can solve. So this will order by the first column, this will order by the second column, and this will order by the third column. What if we give order by 4? As the column is not there, it is going to return an error for us. Okay, let me show you that once. Just like that, order by, already we know we have 1, 2, 3 rows in this, but let me put 4, and just like that, see, we got an internal server error as this 4th column is not there and we are trying to order this by. Let me try with 3. See, we got the result now because we have the 3rd column available with us in this particular response. So that is how we can check. Obviously now we know how many columns we have, but to check the data type of each and every column, we definitely need that union attack only. Okay, let me type in as select null, null, and plus. It is optional plus here. Okay, let me hit enter. So yeah, this one is also the successful one. We found that there are 3 columns in this, as the 3 if we keep 3 nulls, the response was successful. Okay, now let us replace this first null with the letter A. Okay, the letter A, just like this, in this way, and hit enter. Internal server error. This means the first column did not satisfy the data type of this particular value which we have given. So what is the data type here? This is a string, right? Okay, let me type in null back here, and now we will go for the second column and we will type in the string and hit enter. Okay, see, we got that, and we got that value as A. But if you see here, let me zoom in just like that. But if you see here, this is the first column, this is the second column, this is the third column we saw. But unfortunately here we can see the first column is not the data type and second column. This means the columns which we use here, which we imagine that this is for this column, this A is for this, and this null, third null, is for this column, is completely wrong. Okay, so we need to place the string in each and every column and we need to check. Okay, now let us also put null here, and let us keep this A here. Okay, and hit enter. See, the third column does not contain, is not of this what do we say, string. Okay, first column, so null, and here the second null should be replaced with string A. Okay, so I think the lab is not solved. Let me see why. Attack returns an additional row. The technique helps you to determine. Okay, to solve the lab, perform an SQL action that returns an additional the value provided. Okay, contains the value provided. Okay, making the database retrieve the string. So this is the string that we need to display here in order to PortSpeaker understand that we have solved this lab. And let me hit enter. Yes, we have solved this and we have replaced it with this string, and here as you can see that string appears here. Okay, so in the coming lab the most advanced and the interesting topic is going to come, and you will understand why we are doing all these things, why we are finding how many columns, why we are finding the string the data type of particular column, and why do we want to match those things. So you will get to know all these things. Okay, anyhow, thank you, have a great day, let us meet in the next lab.